Hello, and welcome to another episode of Away and Abroad. Today, I'm excited to announce that I have completed an 100-day project of taking a film photo every day since January 1st, 2026. And so today, I just wanted to talk about that and to share why I started it and if I'll do it again or what I would do differently or what I might do next. Okay, so last summer to fall, I started a journal club based on Suleika Jawad's book, The Book of Alchemy, and I started it with Ra from the Feminist Book Club here in Minneapolis. And one of the prompts that we chose, which Suleika coincidentally chose on her Substack as well for the start of the year, was the prompt The Art of Dailiness by Michael Bierut. And he talks about, just starting a daily practice of a 100-day project. And so in December, I brought it to the group and we went through the prompt, which I will read for you now. You should definitely look up the essay as well and read that for yourself, because it's just such a great prompting and context for what it's all about. But basically the prompt is: write about a time when you began doing something daily, be it a creative endeavor, a new course of study, or a form of exercise. What prompted you to start it? What obstacles got in your way? When you felt resistance or missed a day, what called you back? Now reflect on what you gained from it and how you might apply the knowledge to a new daily creative practice. So I thought this was a perfect prompt to discuss, everything that came out of this. So I had done a sketch a day kind of unofficial project years ago, and I feel like it kind of led me to New York. Themes of New York kept coming up, and so I think daily practices like this always intrigue me. I don't usually do it on a yearly basis, but I think I might at least do something once a year. And it was such a nice antidote, I think is the word, to a New Year's resolution. Since I wasn't super interested in doing that, I feel like I make a lot of resolutions around my birthday because that's my new year, and that just feels like more of a fresh start, or even in springtime. So the dead of winter just isn't a great time for new beginnings. For me, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. So I'll just answer this question: what prompted you to start this? How I landed on doing a film photo was winter is just not a creative time for me photographically. I love to take pictures on trips. I love to take pictures, in the summertime, just when things are nicer and easier to be outside. And so it was a challenge to me to see what I can notice every day, not even really appreciate. If I can appreciate winter, that's great. But it was just a challenge to me to see what comes up every day that I can find worth documenting through the dead of winter and into spring. So I felt like the timing was really perfect, and I really loved the intention for myself. So that was that. Also, I had just gotten a Yashica camera, which, if you're not in the film world, it's a medium format kind of boxy camera that photographs square photos. And the film is a bit more expensive than a regular 35 millimeter, but I've always wanted one. And I was on a photo shoot for my company, and the people I hired, Ryan and Adam, were great inspirations for just getting a new one, and they helped me find this one actually from Cute Camera. It's a camera store based in Austin, Texas, and it's women owned and run. So highly recommend if you're curious about getting into film photography. That's where I got mine, and it was such a great purchase. So that was the whole caveat for that. And I was let me kind of get to know this camera, and so that I'm ready to take I'm always ready to take good pictures, but honestly, it really helped to do this because there were some kinks that I had to work out. I needed more practice loading the film, and there were a couple photos on either end of the roll that didn't come out right. Or a problem I was having at the beginning was I would double expose the last frame accidentally, just because I didn't realize that like that was it and like don't shoot it again. And then there were some photos at the end of rolls that were kind of cut off based on like the light exposure that hit the film. So yeah, I definitely got better at just the whole mechanics of it too. So that was kind of, I feel like that was a good product or lesson learned to come out of this. Okay, what obstacles got in my way? Honestly, I feel like I didn't have a hard time getting it done. And this isn't a direct answer to the question, but I realized something about myself, that I do love the morning. I love the morning light. I love taking pictures first thing in the morning when I'm traveling. I love to just like get up and like, I feel like it's my most creative time of the day, which is frustrating knowing I have a 9 to 5. But that I can't be my most creative or get my most creative work done during the work week. But anyway, I tended to get the photo kind of out of the way in the morning. And so I guess in terms of thinking of obstacles from hindering me from doing it, like I didn't forget. I even brought it with me on a couple work trips that I had and vacations, and I felt very committed. Like I just didn't feel like there was much of an obstacle to get it done. So maybe the reason why light or the morning light came to mind was like an obstacle could have been putting it off and ending up with no natural light at the end of the day. And I did take a couple pictures with the lighting in my apartment and ended up really not liking those photos. It was just, maybe it was the film that I had in there at that time, but it was like really orangey and yellowy, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. So that's kind of an obstacle, is like I did have kind of a time constraint that I wanted to get it done by. And so then the obstacle was getting it done and out of the way before I went to work on days that I went to the office, because by the time I got home, it was well after dark in the winter. So that would be one. Another obstacle would be financial. It did end up, I should get a total actually. Oh my gosh, I should have had that ready. If I had to guess, I would say it cost me probably like $250 by the end of it. I was gifted a handful of rolls by my friend Ryan and for Christmas, so that helped kind of jumpstart and take care of half the costs. And then I took care of the developing and scanning, which another byproduct of this might be I might be doing my own scanning in the future and or development. I don't know. It's just made me think more about it. Like, should this be something I invest in, or would it be an obstacle for me to get it done, knowing that it kind of like rests on me? But anyway, also when I got a few rolls back, there were like some debris on it, and some photos were kind of cut off and not scanned properly. So either I want to find a different provider, or maybe I'll do it myself. So TBD. But yeah, so I think the main obstacles were financial, and then like the time constraints every day. Okay, next question. When you felt resistance or missed a day, what called you back? So I just missed a day or two recently, and I knew I was missing it. I think the resistance there was just like, I just didn't know what else to photograph. I was like, okay, I have so many pictures of like the morning light, of my couch, of me, of, just, I feel like, a lot of pictures I took were like in the living room, and that's just the thing I was drawn back to over and over. But I was feeling like, I don't know how I can see this in a new way. Also, I don't know, I was getting done with it. And I was like, I don't want to spend more money on taking like a similar picture, something I've already done. So, I mean, I needed to like maybe push through that creative block and be like, okay, there's got to be something. And then I guess what called me back was just knowing like the end is so close in sight. When at the time that I'm recording this, I will have 2 weeks left. But by the time you hear about it, I'll be done. So knowing that I'm so close to the end is really getting me through. And I did develop the roles along the way. So it was really rewarding to see like what was turning out, and I got better at not ruining the ends of the rolls, and I got better at framing and focusing and exposing and all of that. So knowing I was getting better and better photos was incentivizing to keep going as well. Okay, now reflect on what you gained and how you might apply that knowledge to a new creative daily practice. So I mentioned I gained better awareness and understanding of my camera, so that was like a great skill to have. I learned how to work with literally a new perspective because this camera, the viewfinder, is set up such that you look down and through instead of holding the camera up to your face. And so that was different. Like literally I was in the car one day and like looking through it, and I was like, oh, I absolutely can't take a picture from this viewpoint unless I just want it from the sky, because in order to see anything, I had to like hold it up in order to look down. So that was kind of fun to like work with. I gained a collection of photos that I hope to turn into a zine. I signed up for a zine making class, and I think that this is something I will edit down. I wanted to make a photo book, and I still might for myself, of like every single picture. But I also like the idea of kind of culling things down into like kind of the best of the best. Like there were some pictures that like you can barely see what it is because of just the lack of exposure and, you know, human error. But I really, that's my next challenge, is to make a zine. I want to make more photo books and distribute more of my photo prints just in general. And so that was kind of like an inspiration for this too, just to keep doing the next thing, keep creating, and all of that. And I think creating, like, I don't want to say products, because I don't want the goal to be to make money from my art. That's why film has always been a safe space for me. It just feels like it's something I put money into, and that's okay. But my intention is for distribution, is for sharing, is for not hiding what I can make. Like they're good photos, you know, and I'm proud of them. So that's kind of the goal for the rest of the year, maybe, is to like make a zine from this of like all of my favorite photos and just share it with friends. And yeah, I have some really beautiful self-portraits that I'm really happy with. Again, I realized like how much I love the morning, and that's kind of a theme now in my life, is that I like to take pictures of the morning, and I really celebrate the morning, and it's like a fresh start to the day and all of that. So that was really nice to notice. And another thing that kind of came up for me was just where I live. So I moved to Minneapolis after 10 years of living on the East Coast, and I really wrestled with that. And I think just like returning home, returning to a place that's familiar, but not necessarily a place I love, other than, you know, the fact that my family's here and I love them. But I really wrestled with that, because I'm like, why am I here? And like, why did I do this? And, you know, is this where I really want to spend, you know, my time? And I don't know if it's someplace that I'll stay forever, but the nice thing, I have appreciated the things about living in a place that I can afford a larger space, and I feel very creative, and I feel like my soul is more at rest, honestly, than in New York. And I hate to say it, I hate to admit it, but there are nice things about living in a slower place, and I feel like I've been able to travel so much and everything. But when I think about the winter and the climate of it all, like that's just the hardest part for me. And New York was very similar to this too. Like we definitely got snow and cold, and the main difference is that you're out in it to commute. So winters were almost harder there. But I'm realizing that like I just crave to live in a place that I don't have to fight so hard to be active. And I really do like to go for morning walks, and I like to just be outside. And for, you know, almost 6 months of the year, it's like a battle to stay active. Like I definitely feel like I've gained weight, and like that's okay, you know, there's seasons for hibernation and whatever. But I'm like, it really struck me when I went to San Diego for a weekend trip, where I'm like, these people here like don't have to like work so hard to just go for a bike ride. Like, you can just bundle up, maybe put on a sweater and go for a bike ride. But in Minnesota, it's like, it's a whole lifestyle if you choose that, because you just have to cover everything. You have to get the right tires. You have to, it's like, and to go for a walk, like, I was pretty committed to doing that, like maybe 2 winters ago. I was like, I'm gonna go for winter walks and just like bundle up so hard, and I just never got around to it. It's just so much easier to be inside in the evening. Like, it's dark, it's cold, it's sometimes negative degrees for weeks, so, and I don't like the gym. I do some home workouts sometimes, but the point is like, it's just so much easier for me to be active and just like go for a couple 10-minute walks throughout the day in spring, summer, fall. So I really wrestle with that, because like, is it worth uprooting your whole entire life to live somewhere where you can just be a little more active during the day? Or, how can I help myself like work around this constraint, And actually, that reminds me, I did invest in some ice skates this year, and I did go skating a handful of times. I hoped to get even more like fit from that, but it was an effort, and I think I really enjoyed that. I mostly went on the weekends, but sometimes I would go in the afternoon during the weekday. So that was like my attempt to like embrace winter, and I liked it. My skates were really great. They're so nice and clean. I love them. And so I'm really glad that I did that. I didn't feel like it was like a daily practice to be exercising every day, but it got me outside and doing something different. So, okay. So I think the last thing I'll talk about is whether I would do a 100-day project again. And I think I will. And I think I want to do a sketch a day, because like I said, I did that 10 years ago, and I've still been sketching. Like, I have a sketchbook. I bring it with me on vacations. And similar to photography, I want to be practicing my sketch skills to just draw better and to take down information better. I think I get so frustrated that my drawings don't look how I want them to. And so why not make a daily practice out of it? Sometimes I think, oh, what if I did like a plank every day, or really challenge myself to go for a walk every day? Especially in the winter next year. But yeah, I think I'll definitely do a 100-day project at the start of next year. I don't know if I'll do photography again, but something else creative I'd like to do. Something I do is journal a page every day in the morning. So I kind of have simultaneous daily rituals and practices as well. But yeah, I think always having my camera available and handy is nice too. And just keeping that creative muscle strengthened. So yeah, I think I'm going to do a sketch a day starting maybe April 12th. Why not just jump into another 100 days? I would continue with the photos, especially with spring and summer coming, but I think just cost-wise, I'm going to take a break, but again, have the camera nearby and just be willing to grab it and take it with me, even if it's not something I'm doing every day. And I'll just let my film photo fund fill up a little bit. So yeah, let me know if you've ever done a 100-day project. Are you intrigued? Are you totally turned off? So when I did this prompt with my journal club, I don't think anybody was interested. I got a consensus that people were like, not for me. And I was a tiny bit disappointed, just because I thought it'd be cool to hold each other accountable or check in, throughout and at the end to see what we came up with. I love seeing what people do online or otherwise. So let me know if you've ever done something, or what you would do if you started today. And I'll see you next time.